The Boker Patriot is a knife I owe you a review on. I've had this for quite a while. I've used it quite a bit. I need to post and shoot a review on that knife very soon, and I will. The CRKT Homefront is a knife I owe you a review on. I've had it for a while, carried it and used it for a while. It's great, and you will be seeing a review on it very soon, but not today. The Spyderco Paramilitary, or Para 3, is also a knife that I owe you a review on, and I will be getting to it soon enough. Trust me, I promise you I will be getting to it soon. But today, every now and then, it's rare, but every now and then, a knife jumps ahead of the pack, all the other knives that you want to talk about and need to talk about have to get set aside because something new and cool has come along that is really impressive. Hey everybody, welcome to my review of the Kershaw Dividend. And that is the knife that is that impressive that it's pushing out all these other ones today. Now again, all those other knives and lots of others, plenty of knife reviews coming in the near future. Do stay tuned, stay subscribed, keep watching and all that good stuff because I think you're going to enjoy the knives that are coming up on the channel. But as I said before, this is one that's jumping ahead of the pack and deservedly so. The new Kershaw Dividend, I saw it at SHOT Show 2017. There's two versions of it, this one right here in aluminum and also a GFN or glass-filled nylon version of it, which is slightly thicker in the handle, but not that much, and the weight is going to be virtually identical as well. Steel on it will be exactly the same too. Blade shape is exactly the same. What is the steel on this one? 420 HC. Now, some of you guys are going to be laughing at that, saying, come on now, 420 HC? This is a knife that's jumping ahead of the pack at 420 HC? Come on, man. S30V, AUS 8, 154 CM. How dare you give us 420 HC and have that jump to the head of the pack? Trust me, okay, just trust me. Stick around for the review and I think you'll understand what I'm talking about. So the knife has been put through all the tests that I like to put my EDC knives through. Did some paper cut tests, some cardboard cuts. Rather than digging into a 2x4 this time, I decided to do carving work with it. And so you're going to see some of that during the course of the review, but before we show you that, let's get into just some of the characteristics of the blade. We'll also get into some comparisons, so lots to talk about in the review. Do stay tuned for the whole thing. As I said before, aluminum on this version, nice black pocket clip on it, and that one is not deep carry or anything like it. However, I think that carries adequately deep. You can see about where that comes to in pocket, also leaving that lanyard hole out of pocket so that if you decide to put a lanyard on this, it's not getting tangled or buried or caught on anything inside your pocket. The real cool thing though is that this pocket clip is 4-way repositionable. So lefties rejoice. Tip up, tip down, guys. You've got it with this knife. You can have it however you want. USA made. Okay, that's what the flag represents there, and it says so there on the blade, obviously, which is a very cool direction for Kershaw. We've seen lots of other USA made, or some USA made Kershaws in the past. I've loved almost all of them. And we're going to address one of them here in a minute, but the fact that some USA production is coming back and we're getting some great Kershaws, not just ZTs, but Kershaws made in the USA, that's awesome. I love it. And honestly, it's been going on for a couple of years now, but this, I think, is really sort of leading the pack in all those USA made ones as far as affordability, as far as performance, as far as how well it's going to carry, and just what an EDC star it is. But we're going to talk about all that here in a bit. Hollow ground blade on it, partially, so sort of saber ground there, with a nice big flat there. For those of you who like to use some kind of a clamping, sharpening tool, you've got that. Let's see, flipping action on it. So it is spring assisted, meaning that it's got that speed safe mechanism in there. Nice fast deployment on it. Good solid deployment on it. Good solid lockup too on this one. You can see that it's a liner lock, and give you a sense of how that is locking up there. So really, as far as construction is concerned, no complaints. Got a little, what looks like a GFN, glass-filled nylon backspacer there with some cool little cutouts in it, mainly for aesthetics, but also I think it's very functional in that it helps dust kind of get blown through there and stay clean helps the blade stay clean, I should say, a little better. Are those liners drilled out? They don't look like they are, really. No, they're not. It hasn't hurt the weight, though. At just under 3 ounces, it's still a great knife, and there's really no complaints at all, from me anyway, in regards to how this knife carries and how it feels and how it uses in hand. And in regards to ergonomics, you can see that it's got a really nice grip to it. Your thumb just kind of naturally falls into this position right there, and sweeps back and feels really nicely feels really good in your hand, I should say. Blade shape, a little bit of a Wharncliffe style to it. Something like a split between a Wharncliffe and a spear point. Feels almost like a spear point, but it's definitely got some Wharncliffe cues to it. And looking at that tip, very nice, very fine, almost needle-like point on it. That's one of my favorite things about this blade. And yeah, that means you've got to be gentle with that tip. Don't be prying things with it and so forth, but you generally don't want to do that with your knives anyway. Get your screwdriver out if that's what you need to do, or a pry tool of some kind. So yeah, no complaints about the blade shape. In fact, I love it. Love the blade shape, love the size, love the feel of the knife. It's just an absolute winner overall, especially at the price, which is $42. And if you get the GFN version, like $36. Let's get to some of the testing. Like I said before, did some paper cut tests, did great with that. It had a fantastic edge straight out of the box, that 420HC. This is about the best treatment I've seen of 420HC on any knife from any brand. So Kershaw, you're doing a great job. Again, I never thought 420HC was a particularly special steel, but when it's done right, there's nothing wrong with it, and it's very satisfactory. So great performance on paper, great performance on cardboard as well, and slipped through that material just fine. Obviously, in tearing through cardboard, you have all that glue that's there between the layers, between the fluting and the different sheets, and so that does tend to stick to the blade eventually, slow it down. Also, just kind of the heat and the friction from that material will slow it down, but in general, does great and performed great. This knife performed really well. Then, as I got into carving, what I decided to carve was a spoon, and I actually used several knives to work on this spoon because it's kind of a big project, or can take some time if you want to try to do it somewhat detailed. So I used several different knives in carving away at that spoon, and this was one of the ones that got to work on it, and found that this knife handled perfectly in every way in doing that work. I felt like I could get a hold of it from every direction and do every type of cut without really sacrificing anything ergonomically or sacrificing any control over the blade. And if you want to see the finished spoon, here it is. Once again, I used a handful of different knives on it. You'll see the rest of those in some other videos soon, but that is the finished spoon. Really, this is just an exercise to get a sense for how different knives behave. And I hope that you'll be seeing more carving from me in the future. It is quite a bit time consuming in regards to testing a knife, but it certainly does help you learn the knife pretty well. In regards to carving out that bowl, you guys are probably curious how I did that. That was done with a knife, a plain old knife, and you'll see which knife that was, again, in a future video when you see more reviews coming up. In addition to that, I figured why not carve something else. This is another, pretty much just an exercise, just a little carving exercise. I had a dowel, a very small dowel. Decided to carve just kind of a, what would you call that? Little rope pattern, or little, kind of a twirling pattern into the dowel. Again, just a kind of a fun exercise, something to do with a knife to test it out, see how it performs, and see what kind of edge it holds and what kind of edge it maintains. And that's really the key in regards to this knife right here. That's why I'm raving about it right now, because the 420HC on this held its edge for such a long time. After all that paper, cardboard, carving the spoon, it still carved this without a sharpening in between. And I don't think it will shave hair right now. We might as well give it a shot. It might shave a little. It is shaving a little. It's harder than it would be, with a brand new edge on it. But no, we're getting some. We're getting some. And again, no sharpening in between all those tests and this review table. Now let's get a few other knives on the table. There is the Dividend 420HC at about 42 bucks. And here is the Boker Patriot at about, what is it, 70 bucks or so? Something like that, I want to say. 154 cm steel on that. And how about Spyderco Delica? Definitely in the same category. And around the same price as the Boker Patriot there. Then one other one, maybe a couple others. There's the Kershaw Leak, or one of the versions of the Kershaw Leak. There's so many versions of the Kershaw Leak, and that's really what I'm hoping for, actually, with this guy right here. Because in my view, you know what, we're going to stop the main comparison right now because there's lots of other ones. Okay, one last one. Spyderco Para 3. All right, that's the comparison. Now, back to what I was trying to say. In my view, what Kershaw's doing with the Dividend is attempting to top their best knife. And the Kershaw Leak is, in my opinion, one of their best knives. Probably one of the best sellers, if not the best seller, ever to come out from Kershaw. Designed by Ken Onion, fantastic knife, 420H, it's actually 14 C28N steel on that one. And they've had different varieties with, I think there have been some, S30V. I know they've had an S30V version, probably some other varieties of steel. And they have a frame lock version of it as well as this liner lock version. I believe that what they're trying to do with the Dividend is not necessarily replace, but top it, top the Leak. And if they haven't done it, they've come extremely close. And in very many people's opinions, yes, they have topped it. There are a lot of folks that will say this feels better in hand for any kind of work that you want to do. It carries just as easily, but has a different feel to it than the Leak. I still love both of these knives. It's not like I'm going to ditch one of them or say that one is better, but in my opinion, I think that they have come extremely close to topping the Leak, and they have probably easily matched it. Just about matched it. Yeah, in my opinion, they've just about matched the Leak. And I would love to see lots and lots of different handle scale versions. In my opinion, that's what's going to happen. We're going to see lots of different versions of the Dividend in the future because that is how good it is. Have I convinced you? I don't know if I have. But in any case, that is my review of the Kershaw Dividend. I absolutely love it. Yes, it jumped to the head of the line, and there are lots more knife reviews coming in the future, so do stay tuned. I'm a late Boy Scout. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.